All right, everybody, Steve Rack here, ready for another 5 on Friday. You ask the questions, I answer them, and I'm looking forward to this week. I'm outside, it's beautiful, it's like 71 degrees, and it's still only March here in Cleveland. So, anyway, let's get to it. All right, question number 1, Brandon Spangler. Hey, do you think that taking subcontracts from large companies such as Brightview or Ferrandino & Sons is a good idea? Also, what are your thoughts on Home Advisor and other services like that? This is a tough one because I have to answer this honestly. I've had some issues with dealing with some of the major national companies. We've worked with several of them. Some of them are good, some of them aren't so good. I'm not going to get into the business of trashing anybody or any business when I do these question and answers, but I'll tell you this. Do your homework. Make sure that when you take a job from these particular companies, if you're going to work with, say, for example, Brightview, if they ask you to do a group of banks for them, I would always, the way we always worked it was, all right, are those banks next to or close to some of our other properties? Because I know we're not going to be able to get the money out of them that we would get out of them if we bid them ourselves. Bottom line is, these national companies, they are going to bid the property, they're going to take their percentage off the top, and they're going to pay you whatever it is that you guys agree upon when it comes to the pricing of that property. It could be a good filler work for you. We used to use it as filler work. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket, for sure. Don't make them your biggest customer. That pretty much goes for anybody as well. You know, putting all your eggs in one basket in a business, especially commercial maintenance, not a good idea. So as for the Home Advisor and other services like that, Angie's List, you know, we don't get involved with that too much because we're commercial, so I really can't comment on that. Thanks for the question. Question number 2, Hugo Garcia. How much do you pay a man with no experience, and how much do you pay someone with experience in lawn maintenance, driver and all? Tough one to answer because basically all the markets are different. You know, Ohio's going to be different than California. California will be different than Florida. Here's my advice on that. Go to the NALP website, NALP, National Association of Landscape Professionals. Check out they have a cost, they have a survey that they do that's kind of a benchmark survey that they put out, and it's called the Employee Compensation Cost Survey, I believe is what it's called. There's some great information in there. You have to pay for it. It's like, I think it's $100 if you're not a member, but it's a great resource. If you guys have questions on that, shoot me an email. I'll try and get you the exact name and information on that. Okay, number 3, Anthony's Lawn Care. What do you think of different kinds of trucks, diesel or gas, dually or single wheel? And then Rufus also asked me a question about trucks. What's your advice on buying used work trucks such as F-350, 450 crew cab dump trucks and other brands such as Chevy? I just bought a used truck for the first time. We bought a box truck. It was a used U-Haul. We have some jobs that are in a really bad part of town. I mean, really tough part of like East Cleveland. So we bought this truck. It was like $3,500. I had it logoed up. If I can shoot a picture, I will. But I did a video with it. I can't remember which one it was. So I have some pictures of it. It's in some of my other videos. Put the logo on the side. It looks great. And it's worked out great for us. Now, it has 150,000 miles on it, so, you know, how long will that last? You know, I would say, basically, if you're going to buy a truck, used or new, you know, you have to make that decision because you know where you're at with your financial world. I've bought new trucks for years and years and years. This is the first used truck I probably bought in 10 plus years. We used to buy used trucks all the time. I really don't have a problem with it. I think if they're taken care of and well maintained, it's not a bad idea, especially if you're just starting out, you know, you don't have the kind of cash. I like the new, I just bought a brand new truck too a couple months ago, and it has a 3-year or 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, so that's good because I don't have to spend the money on the maintenance. So it's up to you. When you buy a lot of trucks, you have to really find a good dealer that's going to give you good pricing, and let them know, hey, I'm going to buy multiple trucks. That's what I try to. I've been working with the same dealer for like 5-6 years now. There's no haggling, there's no back and forth. I go in, he knows I want to buy a truck, he gives me the best price. I feel good about it, he feels good about it, we move on. Okay, thanks for that question. Number 4, Imperial Services asks, is commercial really better than residential? I know some are bigger, there's less driving around. Basically what Imperial Services is saying is he's hearing that commercial work is cheap. yes, it probably is less than residential. Now in my market, I know that's the case. However, that's what we do. I can't say commercial is better. It's different. It's different. You know, a guy that's doing residential work might say, hey, I love my residential customers. You know, they're great. I have a great relationship with them. They're loyal. I go every week. I take care of their house. You know, they pay me. They bring me out something to drink. On the commercial end of it, it's not as touchy-feely. You know, it's more impersonal business. You know, it's very business type relationship. They do look at the numbers. They look at the numbers. That's the game in commercial maintenance. So if you are more of maybe a personal person that likes to, you know, talk and get to know your customers really well, maybe the residential market is a little bit better for you. If you're more of a business-oriented person, the commercial market might be better. You have to see what resonates for you as a business owner. Thanks for the question. Question 5, Randy Ione. He says, thanks for the great info. What size crews do you run for maintenance? I currently run 3 people because it seems everything actually slows down whenever I try to add a 4th. Curious to know your experience with the same. We use 1-man, 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, and 5-man crews. It just depends on the job. We have some very big jobs that we have to have a 4 or 5-man crew on to get done in a day. So we have some huge properties that we have to send out a big crew. We call them the big crew. We also have 1-man crews that are highly efficient. You know, they do our small sites like restaurants, they do our gas stations, they do our banks, they do things like that. You have to play around with it. I think I see your point when you add a 4th person to a 3-man crew. Does it increase the efficiency? Really, sometimes you add that extra person, they're not going to increase the efficiencies. So sometimes you're better off with a 3-man crew. You know, if you add that 4th person, how much faster is that work going to get done? Is it going to get done that much faster that you're going to be able to save the money on labor and make a little bit better profit on it? It's hard to tell. Depends on the size of the property. Thanks for the question. I got another follow-up from Randy, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Question number 6, because this one, there were a couple people that liked this question. You mentioned a specific enhancement crew. I don't exploit upselling my customers. I know I should be. I don't pursue it mostly because it seems hard enough just to get the contracted maintenance and requested enhancements completed each week. I'm intrigued by the idea of adding a dedicated enhancement crew so everyone can stay in their lane and we can generate additional revenue. Is the enhancement revenue a substantial percentage of your revenue? Yes. And I'll tell you, it is a higher profit part of the business because a lot of times when you're usually not going out on the enhancements and they're not getting bids on it because they trust you, you've formed a relationship with them. So you have to look at it like, and I look at it like it's a two-way relationship, okay? Don't feel like you're exploiting them. A lot of times they want to get that work done and they probably want you to do it. Now I'm not saying you want to go in there and charge sky-high prices. However, you can charge more, and rightfully so, because it's a totally different crew that comes out. Say a customer that you already have wants a mulch bed with some plants and maybe some retaining wall work done and stuff like that. Well, you're not going to send the mow crew out to do that for the most part. We send out a specific enhancement crew. We send out machines, skid steers, bigger dump trucks. It's a more specialized type of crew, so that costs a little bit more money, and we're going to make a little bit more on that job. So having a specific crew to do that is a great idea. Okay, hey, that's it. That's 6. I got through 6. Listen, I appreciate you all watching. If there's anything else that I can answer for you, remember, put your questions below in the questions. Subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. Share it. And hey, you guys have a great spring. I will see you next week. It's going to be a great spring. I can tell. We're going to do great. Thanks.